Hello everybody and welcome to a video about Medieval Dynasty. This is going to be a survival medieval game. As you know, on this channel we love both of those types of games, so I really wanted to cover this. This has been on my radar for a while. I just didn't decide to say anything about it until now because now we have some more information and we can kind of have a discussion right now in this video about what's going to go on with this game. So I am going to let the developer of the game talk about this a little bit in this video that we see here in the background. I will link to this video in the description box. So anyway, let's see what they have to say. And then I have a few thoughts based on IGN's gameplay as well as reviews of their previous games. So here we go.
City builder and of an RPG. Our game is set around the year 1000 in a non-specific region of Europe. And although we don't specify which country or people Medieval Dynasty is based on, we used our own ancestors as an inspiration. The years in which Medieval Dynasty is set in are the same years that Poland became a kingdom. Having that link, that connection, it makes this game a bit more personal to us. Most people, when they think of medieval times, they think of knights, kings and castles. But we wanted to show a different side. We wanted to show what real common people went through. And this is how the game starts. You, along with your wife and son, are left stranded, alone. Perhaps runaways from a settlement that has been pillaged. You are out in a vast open land. And once the reality hits you that there isn't another settlement that you can take in, you realize that if you and your family are to survive, you need to start taking the matter into your own hands. You need to be a leader. And the first thing that you need to do is set yourself up to survive in the environment that you are in. The world that you're in is both your biggest ally and your greatest threat. You will be able to use the land to gather food, resources, hunt, farm, cut down trees, gather stone, and more. You have everything around you that can help you not only to survive, but to thrive as well. Slowly, you will be able to build your small party into a proper settlement, which will bring people from far and wide wanting to join your tribe. However, just as the land can provide you and your community with everything that you need to survive, the environment can bring it all down in an instant too. Apart from wildlife that's not too friendly, you will have to battle the elements as well. Weather, such as strong rain, can come at any moment in any season, but what you will need to really prepare for is the cold and bitter winter season. When the snow falls and ice forms, life comes to a standstill. And it will be up to you to make sure that you, your family and your people have food, warm clothes and shelter to last them through these hard and cold days and nights. Otherwise, it's doom. Nature doesn't take any prisoners. As you can see, we want to bring something different to the table with Medieval Dynasty. We don't want this to be just another survival game. We want to take from other genres, other exciting ideas like RPG elements and city building gameplay loops and make Medieval Dynasty something bigger, something different, and something fresh. We hope that you like what you are seeing so far. Please share your thoughts with us. We are now in a production phase where comments from you are invaluable. So share your opinions. Also,
okay, so this is the end of the video here. You guys can go back and watch the video again at your own pace if you like. As I said, I will leave a link to it, but I figured we could take this time to quickly talk about the game. So I'll start with the positives first. What really excites me about this is what the developer who was just talking said at the very end, and that is that they want to take from different genres to do something new with a survival game. And that's kind of what I've been looking for as far as survival games go. Those of you who follow this channel know that I've been going through a survival game burnout because I've played so many games that are so similar in a really short amount of time, and I'm pretty much done with that kind of game. But this looks like a different kind of survival. This includes a family. This includes, obviously it's going to have building, but it seems like it's more of like a village building instead of just putting down workstations in order to survive. The developer mentioned having your own peoples, not just family, so I'm hoping that could maybe turn into a village, not just a family type thing. I'm really curious to see how the rest of the mechanics are going to work. As far as hunting and crafting, But I do have a few concerns. My first concern is that there was an 8-minute video by IGN done some time ago, and I think it might have been released a little bit too early at the stage in the game's development, so I will show you a quick clip here of what that 8 minutes of gameplay looked like so you can see for yourself what I mean. Okay, so this is the 8 minutes of gameplay from IGN. I think going into this we can assume that if someone is reviewing early gameplay from IGN that they would indeed have a computer capable of running games that might be on the market now. This is important because, I mean, we can see we have low frames here, but when we get to certain parts of the gameplay, you'll really notice a tank in frames. And I guess that's why I wanted to bring this up, because I'm not sure why the studio would want to show off this gameplay in this state, even though it is an alpha. I feel like once things get to IGN, they should almost be in a polished or really close to production state. And to me, this just seems a little bit too hasty of a release of data. That's just me though. Actually, when I saw this video the first time, I completely put the game aside and said, oh, no, it's probably not going to be my type of game if this is the kind of content that they're giving to IGN to show off to everyone. But after the video from the developers that we saw at the beginning of this video, I decided I would go back and look at the game again, really just because I really like the premise of the idea, and I'm hoping that they were able to iron out some of the things we see in this video. So let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about. Okay. So this is the wolf scene, where we're going to see animations that just simply aren't there, AI that doesn't seem to be working, and just overall awkward gameplay. So this is one of the main things that kind of concerned me about this. So part of buying games these days is not only vetting what you see in videos like this, but also looking into development studios, what their pasts are like, to kind of see what you can expect. It doesn't seem to be as basic as it used to be, where you can just go into a store, buy a CD, and that's the game you get, no bugs, etc., all that. Now these days we kind of have to go through, sift through everything, and see what we think is going to leave us with a good player experience. So that's why I'm starting to look at games much more closely. The background of the games, the studios, the developers. Thanks Chronicles of Illyria for also influencing me to start looking more deeply into things. But here we have a skinning animation, meat. He gets meat in the corner. So it seems in this gameplay that the basic functionality is there. It's just not polished, like, at all. Let's see if we can find some other gameplay. So this is running through the village in the snow. I really like the look of the game. It does seem very true to the medieval era. I think the art team has done a good job, and when we saw in the beginning of the video by the developer that the characters seemed custom, so he was working on sculpting, it looked like, in part of that video. Here we've got some rabbits, I think, are about to be shot at, or is that what is that, a doe? Oh. But this is what the game was looking like. Well, I'll check when this particular video was made, but this is what the game was looking like some time ago. Possibly a month-ish before the developer video. Okay, so you could take down a deer with a spear. Something this reminds me of is Life is Feudal. Life is Feudal, back when it released. The AI wasn't quite there. Some of the animations, etc., weren't quite polished. This is kind of what that reminds me of. So anyway, now that you've seen this, let's look at some Steam reviews of their previous games. Alright, so Toplitz Productions, as you can see here, also worked on Farmer's Dynasty. I'm not sure if they were the head team. I think they were. It says the publisher was Toplitz Productions, the developer Toplitz, and Umio Studios. Overall, the game has very positive reviews, which is encouraging for us who are looking at Medieval Dynasty. So the idea behind Farmer's Dynasty is that you live, build, farm, enjoy a unique mix of farming, constructing, and life simulation that takes you to the countryside and holds plenty of challenging gameplay in stock. So yeah, you see we have different farming environments. Looks like you have NPCs, town folk you can talk to. You have a little coffee shop in town. Seems to be much more about the social side maybe? Yeah, look, you can have a nice campfire. I have not played this game. Whoops.
My grandfather left me his ruined farm.
Just a disclaimer.
Well,
So we could take a look at this really quickly.
I worked hard, from dusk till dawn. I gave the farm all the time and
Oh, that's actually really cool.
Eventually it started giving back.
Well, that's life. Take what comes along the way. That's love. Let it grow stronger every day. That's life.
Trust me, there aren't many things more rewarding than coming home from a hard day's work at your own field. Or a greenhouse, or a coop, or a barn. With so much to do, I definitely needed some help. Luckily, I didn't have to look far.
Yeah, here's the social
Yvonne,
part.
Janet, Becky. Eventually, we became close friends. Some became family. I'm taking it day by day, slowly finding my way around. There's always something exciting around the corner, and I can't wait to discover it all.
Okay, so that's kind of the gist of this game. What I really like is that this actually seems... I know that there are other farming sims out there, but this seems like it has a few more unique ideas that you can do. It seems like there are a lot more activities you can do. As I said, I haven't tried the game, but it seems like this studio really wants to try new things. So let's just look at the reviews really quickly. So, fun game if you have the time. It makes me a bit nauseous sometimes from the camera movements, but I still play through that. I wish they would have a character creator and have a female player possible. It's a time waster. Plop on a podcast and play. I actually really enjoy those games. All right, let's see what a negative review says. Kind of disappointed on this one. It appealed at first, but the more I played it, the worse I felt about my experience. The characters, writing, modeling, animation, etc. all very poorly done. I get that they're not the focus of the game. Repairing started off as fun, but rapidly became boring and tedious. Okay, so that's kind of what I was worried about, is that the footage that we saw from the IGN trailer seemed like it was not polished at all. This game feels far from finished. It tries a lot of things, but nothing is really catching you and leaves a lot to be desired. Social contacts are weak, silly interactions, boring quests, weird animations. Fixing your farm is a really nice idea, but it's really boring. Overall, because I just basically play by pressing L and B. Feels like a very unfinished game. Okay, so we're getting lots of the game is not finished, the game is not polished. I really like the game. The one problem I have with the game is the way everybody looks. The graphics of the people is horrible. Everyone looks like they're made of wax and wearing clothes. Okay, so definitely seeing issues with quality, game quality. They do have another game. It's called, I think, Lumberjack. Yeah, here it is. Lumberjack Dynasty. Toplets Productions. So, a unique life simulation where you are a lumberjack building up a business and founding a lasting dynasty for generations to come. So it looks like it's the same idea as Farmer's Dynasty. Really interesting that they went with lumberjack and tree cutting. Although I can kind of see why. It was a fun part of whichever farming simulator it was that had the tree cutting in it. They might all have tree cutting in it. I don't know. I only played one of them. But I really like the idea of being able to fix things up. So we know at least they have that system working for when they work on their medieval building stuff. Before just looking at the red thumbs down, it's important to let me share why it's a no. First off, this is a great game, and if it follows its projected content, it will be a wonderful title to play. When was this review written? May 4th. Okay, so this is pretty recent. I fully enjoyed the first 10 hours or so I put into the game. I am in no way saying this game is a flop. However, I have played a lot of early access games, and this is by far the most not ready to release. Okay, so as I said, this is what I was worried about, the IGN footage, is I'm not sure why they pushed footage that I really thought would not be close to what they were planning on releasing, but it seems maybe they have a history of releasing games that aren't ready to be out yet. I know what early access is, but this is still months away from being considered early access in my opinion. Okay. Also, I realize that Steam reviews are not the most reliable way to get information, but they can also be very valuable as long as you filter out the crap reviews that obviously are just there to troll. So like, let's see. Goods, nice game world, good gameplay, good sounds, graphics are good, easy controls bad. Content seems to be missing. Game bugs, some things cannot be repaired. Is this worth a buy? No. In this game state, as I type the review, it is not worth your time. Okay, so let's read some positives. Just please, whatever you do, keep updating. It's cool. Okay, so this is something else to think about. The game is still being updated. So are they going to be able to manage updating these 3 games that they have? I'm not sure if the farmer one is still being updated, but it definitely looks like the Lumberjack game is still in early access and not fully complete. So you see that a lot, don't you? You see some of these studios just not finishing games that they've started and moving on to new ones. If you have enjoyed Farmer's Dynasty, then you should enjoy this game. The basic core mechanics are very similar, so learning how to do things will be easy for you, but this time you get to build your dynasty while working at logging and running your sawmill. Visually, the game is good. The game is very early access, so not everything is currently in the game. There are bugs. The developers have steadily been working on fixing things. That's always good. Developer interaction and actually fixing stuff. It's just a matter of time before we get all the additions. Okay. So it seems like the developers have really unique ideas. Maybe not the best polish or best finish on games, but it seems like they genuinely are trying to get their ideas out there, put it forward. I am still worried, though, about the quality of that IGN trailer. Or I can't even call it a trailer, the IGN gameplay, and why that gameplay was released to us as something to look at as far as Medieval Dynasty goes. But for now, let's go back to that beautiful video that we got the day before yesterday from the developers of Medieval Dynasty. I think that the cinematics look great in it. As I said, love the idea of having a family and actually having to start from nothing and work your way up. So it'll be that kind of a survival game, not necessarily the usual collect thousands and thousands of materials in your inventory and then progress kind of survival game. Seems to be more of a natural, realistic one, which, you know, games, when you say they're realistic, it's just a form of being realistic, not necessarily realistic as in true world stuff. That wouldn't be fun at all. I am really curious to see how the polish comes along. I'm hoping to see more of these insider videos, which I will post on my Discord when they come out. This will probably be the only video I do on Medieval Dynasty until we get some more solid gameplay footage. So anyway, I want to hear what you guys have to think about this game. I'm still excited for it because it's medieval, of course, and it's a survival game, so maybe this is what it will take to get me back in the genre. I could probably do more research and see what their planned release date is, but I'm not 100% sure, and I don't want to go putting numbers out there that are probably subject to change. So yeah, let me know what you think about this. Is it something you guys are going to look into, or do you think that the IGN 8 minutes was a little bit shady and maybe the game should be held off for some time? I'm definitely in the boat that I think maybe some more polish should, you know, try to be put into the game. I understand that sometimes studios need to move their release dates up in order to try and make some profit if funds are tight. You never know what's going on in a studio. But anyway, I wish the developers the best of luck. I'm really excited to see the rest of the ideas they have for their game and hopefully play it when it comes out if all else looks good throughout the development process. So thank you all so much for watching. If you are more interested in me and my channel, you can check out the links in the description box down below. I have my socials down there like Discord, Twitter, Patreon, Instagram, all that fun stuff. So anyway, I hope you all are doing well in this rough time. And as always, I hope you are enjoying your games, and I will see you in the next video.